Welcome to Salem Missionary Baptist Church Wednesday Recapitulation. We are located at 3010 West 48th Street, Los Angeles, California, 90043. We can be reached at www.salemla.org. Additionally, I would like to welcome each of you to come and worship with us. I've been away for the last month because of health reasons. And by the grace of God, He's allowed me to come back and resume our Wednesday recapitulation, our Wednesday connection, touch point. Today, I am grateful to be able to share with you from 1 Samuel chapter 17, verses 31 through 37, with a subject of Saul sins for David. An interesting story. David, and many of us have heard it probably much of our lives, of David fights Goliath and defeats Goliath. But when we consider how did that start, that this battle with the Philistines is about to start. David, being the younger brother, is out tending the sheep. His father, Jesse, called to him, and he came, and father had prepared some food to take to his elder brothers, because they were about to go into the fight with the Philistines. I think it's interesting that you've got two opposing factions. You've got Israel fighting the Philistines. Sound familiar? Israel fighting Palestine all these hundreds of years later. In those days, though, the Philistines had a giant, a man that was literally 9 feet tall. Many would say a man 9 feet tall. Wow, I don't want to get involved in that fight. I've never seen anyone that tall, nor have I, 9 feet tall. But David is sent on an errand to bring food to his brothers by his father. He's not told to get involved, to get in the way, any of that, just simply to go and take the food. But on his way, David hears Goliath's challenge. Goliath is challenging Israel to send out their best. He is challenging them to come and meet him on the field. And when David hears this challenge, he's disturbed by that, which prompts this question. When you're around someone that says derogatory, negative things about your God, how do you respond? Or what is your thought when you hear negative, derogatory things about your God? David didn't like it at all. David is confronted by his older brother, who questions him of, why are you here, David? Why are you here? Are you here just to be nosy? Since he tells him, I know about your naughtiness. And David responds to him with a question. Isn't there a cause? While David is talking to his brother, he was called by Saul. And David stated to the king, Saul, that he's willing to go out and fight this giant for Israel. And we'd be honest, there are times in our lives when faced with the Red Sea in front of us and Pharaoh behind us, and it's like, what am I going to do? How can I go forward? And in David's situation, he was willing to go forward. His brother King Saul and the soldiers, in truth, they were cowering. They were afraid to move forward. It's like, what are we going to do? How are we going to fight or even engage in a battle against such an enemy? And to be honest, there are times in our own lives you say, how can I engage this enemy? Perhaps that's health. How can I engage this illness, this disease? Perhaps that's somebody in your community that is causing issues, or maybe that's a problem with a child that is wayward. How can I conquer this? What am I supposed to do? David makes, I believe, one of the statements that each of us should consider. He wasn't afraid, and he states to the king, let no man's heart fail because of him, because of Goliath. As an instruction to us, when faced with challenges in life, challenges, things that could literally take our lives, for our hearts not to fail. To realize in truth the battle is God's. And it's through a divine direction and power that we can be victorious. David had no doubt. And he shared with the king that there's no doubt at all in me that I can defeat this Goliath, this uncircumcised Philistine. David shares his resume. He shares how God allowed him to kill the lion and the bear when the lion and the bear, each of them had taken a lamb from the sheep that he was caring for. He said he literally ran and caught him, grabbed that lion in his beard and smoked him, killed him. And the next day a bear came and he killed him. That's powerful, is it not? David states that Goliath, this uncircumcised Philistine, would experience the same fate. That he's willing to put himself on the line, even if that meant losing his own life. None of the soldiers were saying that. Saul wasn't saying that in truth himself. David had a confidence, as we must have confidence as we face these challenges in our lives. Man that is born of a woman only has a few days, and those days are filled with what? With trouble, with trials, with tests. In the context of this lesson, David tells his story like a man of spirit. He took care of his flock, and he was not going to leave one of his lambs in distress. He would go and literally put his own life in jeopardy to rescue it. If you or I had a child, or one of our blood children in trouble, your mate perhaps, a relative that was in dire need, what would you give? How much trouble, trial, test would you put yourself in? No matter how severe it looked, how scary it looked, that he was willing to surrender all under God, realizing the battle was not his, but the Lord's. And we thank God in the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit.